So I keep seeing these video titles, and I've seen them for the past year. There's a mass exodus from Florida. Everybody's leaving Florida. Florida's done. And folks, that is just not the case. And I want to put that into perspective for you today. In case you have ever thought about moving to the state of Florida, I don't want you to let these fear-mongering videos deter you from making a logical decision. That's what we're going to talk about today. Now, my name is Brant, and I own several businesses here in the state of Florida. I'm a real estate agent, but also own a fishing and outdoor company where I travel the state of Florida, showcasing the state in a positive light, because there is a lot of great things about the state of Florida, and the water and the fishing is one of them. Now, today is not the most beautiful day by no means. It's a little bit cloudy and overcast. It's about to rain. I'm here at the Pensacola Blue Wahoo Stadium. That's our AA baseball team. And I always say, folks, Florida is not without its problems. All right, and you can probably say that about any state. And so I try to come to you as logical as possible so that you can make the best educated decision for yourself.
And folks, if you are looking to buy a house here in the state of Florida, all my information is linked in the description below. Do not hesitate to reach out for a free consult.
So let's dive into this. Is everyone leaving Florida? Are people leaving Florida? Well, and the short answer to that is absolutely. People always leave Florida. They always have left Florida. Now, in the last couple of years, there have been more people leaving Florida than in years past. And I do have what I think is a pretty good explanation as to why. If you look at these headlines, you would literally think that everyone's leaving Florida and no one wants to be here. If that's the case, why is it that in 2021, according to the Census Bureau, there were 21,800,000 residents here in the state of Florida? It's 2025 now, there's 23,400,000 residents here in the state of Florida. You have to ask yourself, all right, who is actually leaving the state of Florida and why? Well, according to the Census Bureau, it's people ages 20 to 29. Now, why would people in that age group, 20 to 29, leave the state of Florida? Well, as you know, over the last 3 years, Florida has become a lot more expensive. I've talked about this in a lot of my videos. That is no secret that Florida has become a lot more expensive. But here's the thing, everything has become a lot more expensive over the last 3 or 4 years. And not just Florida. There are lots of states that have become a lot more expensive. But when you combine Florida insurance and stuff like that, the age group that is that 20 to 29-year-old age group, what are they saying? They're like, well, we're first-time home buyers. I think it's gonna be a lot more difficult than we originally thought to purchase a home here in Florida. We need to move elsewhere. So if you move out of Florida, and let's say you move to the Midwest, or let's say you move to other southern states like in Alabama, Mississippi, certain areas of Tennessee, purchasing a home for the first time is a lot easier than the state of Florida. You're not gonna have to deal with these crazy insurance costs. You're not gonna have to deal with crazy home prices. Yeah, home prices have gone up a lot, and I've talked about it in a lot of my videos. If you want to move to the state of Florida now, you do need to be more financially secure. Is it anything crazy? Is it impossible? No. I sell homes all the time to people moving to Florida. You just have to be a little bit more secure. And who is this whole situation that's happening in our country over the last 3 years? Who is it affecting the most? Well, it's affecting first-time home buyers. Why? First-time home buyers, they've usually only been in their career a few years. Their income level is actually a lot lower than if you were, let's say that 40 to 50-year-old crowd that's been working for 20 years. That is who is leaving the state of Florida. Then you have to ask yourself, well, who's coming into the state of Florida? Well, if you look, according to the Census Bureau, people that are moving into the state are anybody older than 35. And so you have actually a lot of 40 to 60-year-olds moving into the state of Florida. Why? Well, they're more financially secure. Okay, so it just makes logical sense. So to say that everybody's leaving Florida, nobody wants to be here, Florida sucks now, it's no longer beautiful, it's no longer fun, that's false. Florida's still a lot of fun. I just got back from traveling down to South Florida. I traveled around the tip of Florida. I went to the Florida Everglades, and it was a lot of fun. There are a lot of great places to vacation in Florida if you are a Florida resident. Most of my vacations, I take inside the state, because I live up here in the Pensacola area, which is the Panhandle. When I want to, do something fun, I'll travel down to South Florida, because Florida is a fun place, and there are lots of people still wanting to move here to Florida. You can watch a video and you can get really nervous and really scared, thinking that people don't want to live here. Listen, I've lived here 40 years. I could not see myself living anywhere else. I don't want to live anywhere else. Is it more expensive? Do you have to make more money nowadays? Yeah, you do. Just throwing it out there. I've talked about it before. If you're planning on moving into the state, make sure you have a secure job. Make sure that you have a nest egg saved up. You need some money saved up. Houses are no longer $150,000. We're not living in that time period anymore. It's crazy. There's this little holding pond that's right outside of the Blue Wahoo Stadium, and I just saw a massive fish swimming in it. I've never looked in it before, but it was a saltwater fish. It looked like a redfish. Now, if you want to know other reasons why people are moving out of the state of Florida, well, it's pretty self-explanatory. There's a million videos on why this might not be your cup of tea. So think about this, all right? We had the mass rush of people moving into the state of Florida after the pandemic. They get here and they're like, wow, I didn't realize that Florida was as hot and humid as it is. I didn't realize the cost of living was as much as it is. I didn't realize that, we were going to get hit by a hurricane. There are things in Florida that you may not be your cup of tea. All right, that kind of stuff doesn't bother me as a Florida resident, but that might very well bother some people. And so if you moved in here after the pandemic and you're like, man, I didn't realize that it was going to be this humid during July and August. Well, those are the people that are leaving, or younger crowds that moved in here after the pandemic. They're like, man, I didn't realize cost of living was that much. Those people are leaving. I still love the state. People are always going to move to the state of Florida. It just costs a little bit more money to do so nowadays. And so this is what I tell all of my buyers moving into the state of Florida is, if you want to make your transition here easier, like I just talked about, make sure that you have a stable job. Make sure that your finances are secure. Make sure that you have a nest egg saved up of that emergency fund, maybe 6-month emergency fund, because there are things that you may have to deal with. You may have to deal with crazy insurance problems, insurance letters. These insurance companies have been a pain, although I have seen it get a little bit better over the last 3 or 4 months. There have been newer insurance companies enter the market here in Florida. We are seeing lower premiums on those homes built within the last 20 years. Be mindful of that too. If you're moving in here, I would definitely look for either a home that's been updated, that has the new roof, new AC, new hot water heater, or a home that built within the last 20 years, because if not, you could run into some insurance problems. It's just a pain when you get that insurance letter. You never know what it's going to say. They could tell you to replace your roof. They could tell you to, replace your hot water heater, or we're dropping you. There's all kind of stuff. In case that happens, you definitely want that nest egg built up. But we are seeing a change in the market here, folks. The change is that it's more of a buyer's market than it has been over the last couple of years. Last couple of years, it's been a seller's market. There's been 15 offers on every house to hit the market. That's not really the case anymore. Okay, we are more so in a buyer's market now, even though housing prices aren't dropping any crazy number. We are seeing buyers make lower offers on homes right now and getting them. Sellers are having to slash their prices, especially sellers that have to sell. If that home sits on the market for 100 days and it hadn't sold yet, that seller's gonna have to, if he has to sell, he's gonna have to come off that price, okay? And so we are seeing a lot of that, which is very encouraging, which is something that I really think is needed in the market right now. So I'm happy about that. So folks, if you get any value from these videos at all, shoot me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. Listen, I make these just so that if you see these headlines, you don't get scared and make an emotional decision. I have so many buyers come to me and they're like, Brant, we saw a YouTube video, and is this really happening? I heard Florida, the whole state of Florida is up in flames. It's like, well, listen, these people make these YouTube videos videos and these headlines because YouTube is a clicks platform, and if you don't get clicked, you don't stay in business. So remember that, folks, and do your own research and come up with your own conclusion. This is what I'm trying to, I try to come at this as a more logical way, because I actually don't have to get clicks on this small channel. I have a channel with almost 300,000 subscribers that gets enough clicks. So I understand how the platform works, I understand why these videos are being made, and so I encourage you to look at both sides here and do your research before you make a decision, folks. We will catch you next time.